Hello everyone, I am Kurze, this is Low Mana, and welcome to our look into the hottest topic currently flying around the community, Doomfist. Loads of other folks have covered what little backstory we know, and others have had a guess at his abilities, but there's still a lot of ambiguity over the guy that's likely to be Overwatch's next playable character. It's just me this time, as Dantier is still trekking around India on his holidays, but he should be back for our videos next week. General theory, at least the one we've been working with for months, is that the saviour, Adaba Ngumi, is the historical member of the Doomfist trio, either long since retired or killed, and remembered fondly as a hero of Numbani. There's no real evidence for this beyond, well, when a superhero title is passed on in films or comics, especially when it's the first hero to bear the name, that's almost always the case. As such, it's either the Scourge, Akinjide Adeyemi, or the successor, name unknown, that's going to be the one that lands on our hero select screen. With Numbani under threat, and Talon recruited to retrieve the Gauntlet, we've always suspected that it would be the Scourge. Blizzard have previous for in-game poster characters becoming playable after all. Look at D.Va. This was bolstered by his Gauntlet seeming to most accurately match the one in both the cinematic and the Numbani payload. With the successor striking an aspirational and hopeful pose, we figured he'd either be a good guy or exist only as a future ideal. That was until we found this. Way back in the cinematic trailer from BlizzCon 2014, when we first saw the Gauntlet, when it was really still just a product of Chris Metzen's love for compound names, Timmy presses his hand up against the glass housing. A little display pops up when he does this that shows some cutouts of the Gauntlet, a map, and more importantly, a silhouette of the owner. Zoom in and smooth the distortion out, and you end up with something like this. A few spikes aside, this matches up almost perfectly with the silhouette of the successor, as you can see. So, it seems the museum believes the owner of this Gauntlet is the successor, and they know what, vaguely, he looks like. This made us take a closer look at the poster, which reveals the two gloves are, in fact, remarkably similar. It's only the upper arm that makes his look so snazzy in comparison to the Scourge's, and as you can see, it's not a permanent attachment. The forearm still goes inside the Gauntlet to operate it. What therefore seems likely is that the upper arm section is for power and stability. After all, it drained itself in one punch when Brian thumped Widowmaker, which wouldn't be ideal for someone in any prolonged fight. That would also fit with the natural progression of the Gauntlet as well, as it's an improvement on the less pronounced support that the Scourge has. The other interesting part about this silhouette is the left arm, hidden from view on the posters but visible here. It's hard to make out due to the poor resolution, but it definitely looks like the successor has something here. Whether this is a weapon that he'd employ for longer range engagements, a shield of sorts, or maybe even a second fist, it's impossible to tell. But there's definitely more to this guy than just the one Gauntlet. It's also worth noting that this picture seems to put paid to the reverse jointed knee theory some, including ourselves at one point, ran with. And this doesn't necessarily mean he's not an Omnic, but it does mean he could also be human. Question is though, where is the successor? If the museum believes he's the rightful owner, Numbani posters show him as effectively the heir and the grand hope, why haven't we seen him, and why does he remain faceless? The Scourge continues to attack Numbani as mentioned by Bill Petrus, and is certainly working with or employing Talon on some level, so surely that is enough to warrant the successor's presence. One possibility is that he still doesn't exist, and it's a possible future owner, but given the poster has very specific extra detail on the arm, rather than silhouetting the whole damn thing, that seems really unlikely. This wouldn't be a Doomfist video if we didn't touch on one of the hottest topics surrounding Doomfist, the potential for Terry Crews to provide his voice acting talents to bring the character to life. Terry Crews is American, and while he has done some South African accent work in Blended, in terms of quality it doesn't really stand up to the existing talent that Blizzard have employed to voice the rest of the roster. With his Yoruba name, the Scourge is highly likely to require a design that references this in some way. Blizzard have, after all, attempted, and continue to attempt, to anchor their characters in countries and cultures as much as possible, and the accent would surely be a part of this. As for the successor, well, we don't know his name, we don't know where he's from, so that's more open-ended. While I can't see Blizzard giving us two Doomfist heroes as playable characters, and calling them Scourge and Successor, I can easily see a scenario where they both turn up in the lore at some point. Numbani has been largely untouched thus far in both shorts and comics, and that would be a perfect angle to bring all three into the mix. With one working with Talon, could the other be pulled into a reborn Overwatch somehow? And if Terry Crews is voicing one, who would be your pick to voice the other? Thanks for watching our discoveries and thoughts on Doomfist. Did you learn something new? Are you more hyped for his reveal? Do you think we really could see two Doomfists at once? If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell if you want notifications of future video releases. Until next time, I have been Kurze, thanks for watching.